evening to all of you who are present over here. To begin this webinar, I would like to give a big thanks to our principal, sir, Debashish, Mr. Debashish, and to our ILIT Film and Television Department, our admission team, and all the students who are present over here. So today we have a very special guest who is considered amongst one of the 10 best young directors of our country. He has directed 7 feature films, and his recent film, Obhijatrik, was ranked 5th in the list of Best South Asian Film 2020. The film also won Best Screenplay Awards or Best Screenplay Feature Film Adapted from Novel in Seattle Film Festival. So he's none other than Mr. Subhrajit Mitro. So Mr. Mitro, we welcome to this webinar. And now to moderate this webinar, I'd like to call Ms. Nirabari, who is a senior faculty of film studies at ILIT. So Ms. Nirabari, we welcome you in this show. If you can take over, we'll be more than honored.
Yeah, thank you, Vidudha. Thanks a lot. And for Mr. Mitro, congratulations again for your achievement.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We are really pleased with this session because maximum time, our students who are from film and television, or maximum time they are from media studies stream, so they have a whole lot of questions, regarding how they can introduce themselves as a director, or as a director, what kind of things that they should keep in mind when they are making a feature film or planning for a short film. So we encounter this kind of questions regularly. So Mr. Mitro, we would like to have an interactive session where actually we can discuss among us your experience, your findings, and how you have developed yourself. And since you are working for a long time in industry, so you must have encountered many problems and many hurdles, and you actually address that in your own way and overcome that. So should I start with the questions, some of the questions that we received from the students?
Sure, please.
Yeah, so actually we requested them for some of the questions that, what in what topic to hear from you. So the first question that we received is that how to adapt a published novel to script, and what are the changes that required?
Okay. First thing first, to adapt something into a screenplay from a published novel, first you have to acquire the rights. That's the first and foremost thing, because nowadays the Copyright Infringement Act is very strict. So you have to make sure you have the proper right to film that particular piece. In case, according to the Indian IPR Act, the author is dead more than 60 years, then the work of that author is in the public domain, and you can adapt that, like Rabindranath Tagore or Bibhuti Bhushan. For that, you don't require the copyright. But it's good if somebody is if you get the at least the permission from the living kin of the author, if somebody is around. Like what I did during Obhijatrik, I took the permission from the grandson of Bibhuti Bhushan. So that is first thing first, and then comes the toughest part, to convert the novel into a script. If you are writing something, if you are converting something into a script from a novel, then what you have to do, what I'll suggest, to go through all the literary works of that particular author. Then you can have the idea of his way of expressing emotions, his way of expressing characters, or building a situation. Not only that particular book, you have to read all his works. Then you are mentally prepared to write the script based on that literary piece. And then what you have to do, you have to make a pinpoint what are the key elements of that novel which you want to portray on the screen, because this is a different medium altogether. the book is a different medium, film is a different medium. So convert the written words into a visual medium. You have to have a you have to note down all the points what you want to visualize, which you want to portray. So for this thing, I guess that comes with the experience and with the maturity. Sometimes such maybe you'll find very a moving chapter in a book, but that doesn't go with the visual scheme of what you want to portray. Maybe that is not good on the screen. Maybe it is well written and you feel you really like that chapter to read it, but it might not be that good on the screen. So you have to think from a director's perspective or from a scriptwriter's perspective, what will look good on the screen. Then you have to pinpoint those points from that particular novel, and then you have to gradually build up your script. I guess that's kind of clear with the students.
Yeah, I feel that must be very clear for them, because you explained it so well. Maximum time, Mr. Mitra, we heard that that the novel has certain parts which are more descriptive, and it is actually one thing to describe it on words, like when you are writing down something, and when you are visually imagining that, or you are planning to portray something on the screen, so that the language, cinematic language and the literary language is really different. So how my student can actually develop this skill? I mean, how they can develop their own cinematic language, like for example, preparing for when they're writing a script, they have to also remember that how they're going to design the mise en scene, and how will be the set, the art direction. So everything should be in the mind. So how they can develop this skill? Your expertise.
You see the production design or the technical part comes later. First, to convert the written words into the visual medium, and that too in a written words. Actually, you have to write it down, everything. So the thing is that to put it very simply, in a book, our author may write, Ram is a good boy. Then you have an idea, okay, he's a good boy. Whenever Ram comes into the book, you have an idea what a good boy can be. But for a visual medium, for a film, there are two ways to describe this thing. First, a third person, a different person, who can speak on his behalf. Okay, I mean, through the dialogue, yeah, Ram is a very good boy, you can trust him, or something like that. Or what you can do, you can write a scene where you can portray. I guess there is a sound noises coming. Can you mute all the other mics?
Yes, this is a request to all the participants. Can you please switch off your microphone? Yes, Mr. Mitra, you can continue.
Yeah. So, so the first thing is that you can write it down through the dialogue. You can describe that the Ram is a good boy. And another part, which is apt for this film, actually, that is the visual medium. You can write a scene where you can portray what is the goodness of Ram is, how he is a good boy. So you have to think of that a situation or a scene where you can portray Ram is a good boy. That varies from a scriptwriter to scriptwriter. That varies from a director to director. To develop that sense, aesthetically, it can be very crude, it can be very aesthetically brilliant, it can be very explicit, it can be very subtle. But that comes with the knowledge of other films. You have to watch good films, you have to read good novel, good stories. From there you can get this inspiration, and obviously you have to practice a lot, you have to write a lot. Then you can develop that sense where you can visually portray Ram is a good boy.
Right, Mr. Mitra. Very aptly mentioned. Another thing that actually we hear a lot of time nowadays when we assign, I mean, we give some kind of assignment to our students that you have to make a short film or a project film for their CA's continuous assessment or something like that. Then they complain usually that this particularly happens for the fiction film, that when we say that you make a story-based film, story-based short film, so maximum time they complain about the duration. They say that, you know, this ma'am, the story actually is little longer, and when I'm trying to put that or convert that into a cinema, I'm not understanding that what to keep and what to actually I can exclude. So duration, how they can understand that when they are writing a script for a feature film, a script for a short form, and how they can play with the duration.
Uh, for a short film, you have to take the extreme key elements, which is absolutely necessary to tell the story and to take it forward. And for a short film, what I believe personally, it is something like a short story. You have to have that kind of an ending where the curiosity grows more. So I guess for a short film, you have to select that kind of a story where you can generate that much of curiosity at the end of the film. And for a feature film, it's like a novel. You have a time to build up a story, you have to time to build up a character, and you have a time to, you know, portray the entire arc of a character, maybe a life journey. So for a feature film is a vast subject. It's like a novel, it's like a short story and a novel. So that's the difference. So that's and for a short film, I guess the students needs to take that kind of a subject, which is very thought provoking, i I suppose, because that's the very key element to have a good short film, very thought provoking, and where you can tell a lot of things with a very limited number of scenes. So that you can, a student needs to read a lot of books, a lot of stories. Then, you know, he or she can judge which story or the a novella cannot be a short film. Maybe a short story can be a short film, or
Yeah.
maybe a poem can be a short film. So that comes with a, you know, regular practice of a reading. So if somebody wants to be a scriptwriter or director, that person needs to read a lot. He or she must be a voracious reader. So that's a must, and he or she has to read anything and everything, because a director or a scriptwriter needs to know so many things, not particular about direction. It comes with the, if you read so many things in a different aspects of knowledge, then you have the inner sense to direct a scene, a director, direct an actor. So that comes with that. So that develops within. Nobody can teaches you that. No institution can teaches you that. That comes with the experience, and through reading, to experience, to exposure to the good medium of art in every aspect. To see good painting, to study good painting, to study good photography, to listen to the good music, to read good books, to watch good movies. So you have to develop your inner senses to all this goodness, then you can become a good script writer or a good script director.
Uh, Great to hear the words from you, Mr. Mitra. You are just guiding our student in the right path. Uh, do you feel that, you know, nowadays we hear a lot of time that some director, they try to more believe in I mean, they are more conventional, and they try to believe in a particular kind of structure, where script writing is actually, pre-production is something which is the backbone of the filmmaking process. And nowadays also we hear the counter or the opposite version, that some filmmaker, they say that, you know, script can be something which is just a kind of a manuscript, and they very often they actually modulate that, customize that when they are shooting. So what is your take on this?
You see, it's always been, there's a two school of thoughts. If I take the example of two of the greatest maestros in Indian film. One is like Satyajit Ray. He always believed in a structured form, to have a proper bound script with all the description included, characters, costume, whatever you are watching on the film, it is written there. Then also
Very
he
clearly.
improvised. Yeah. Then after that, the camera, light, everything is written there.
Hmm.
And after that, he improvises on the set, or maybe during the pre-production, during the post-production. But 90%, the skeleton and the basic structure is there always. The improvisation part is very minimal. It's all been thought about, it's all been written, it's beforehand when somebody is writing a script. This is like Satyajit Ray. And there is another school of filmmaking. It is something like Hrithik Ghottak. So he never had a bound script with him. So everything in his mind. So actually this is a creative field. You cannot bound someone to, you have to do it like that. There are guidelines, definitely there are guidelines, but there are examples also. Now you have to choose whether you want to take the path of Satyajit Ray or you want to take the path of Hrithik Ghottak. I mean, those are the masters. I mean, we learn from their films. So Hrithik Ghottak is good in, I mean, he has achieved pinnacle of filmmaking with his part, and we all know about Ray. So, but personally, what I feel, a structure script is, it helps me. So to structure script and to written down everything, from the actor's movement to the actor's business, the what kind of emotion the actor wants to portray. I mean, in the dialogue, you write it down. I mean, these part of the dialogue would be with that expression. This part of the dialogue would be with that emotions. You write it down, everything, and the look of the actors, the set design. If there is any the prop, which is very essential about essential part of that scene, you write it down. That if there is a maybe it's raining or maybe it's snowing, the atmosphere, you write it down. That you build up everything. I mean, if possible, you write it down from here the music starts and here the music ends. Maybe you can, a director or a scriptwriter can visualize it. He or she can hear the things. Okay, I mean, when this person is emoting that kind of emotions, maybe I can hear a flute in the background. You can write it down. That so whatever you are watching on the big screen, you write it down first. That's a practice you have to do. That's the safest practice.
Yes. So we can actually conclude that in this way, that when people are starting their filmic career, like they are starting their journey as a director or a part of the crew members, then they should concentrate on the basic, very conservative script writing process.
Absolutely. That's a grammar. I mean, once you have the knowledge of the entire grammar, then you can improvise a lot. Hrithik Ghottak happens once in a century. So don't try to be Hrithik Ghottak unless and until you are really that kind of a genius. So, but it's
also when Hrithik Ghottak was working with a whole lot of people. I mean, when he was working in Hindi film industry, he had to work in that kind of situation.
He was the scriptwriter of Madhumati.
Yes.
So he had written down Madhumati. So
yes,
for the formative years, you have to write it down. Make it a practice. Whatever you want to see, whatever you want to hear, you write it down. Each and everything. So that's a practice you have to do.
Another very interesting thing, Mr. Mitra, that it is actually my question. It did not came from my student. Generally, as a filmmaker, how you visualize when you are doing any character portrayal? Do the idea of the character first comes to you, then when you writing script you develop it, or it happens while you are writing the script?
No.
Because a basic idea, actually we have the basic idea, like we have the structure of the story and the characters along with that, but I'm talking about the detailed portrayal of character. Do that happen while you are writing the script, or it happens before that?
first what I do as a practice, I write it down a short summary of the what I wanted to see. Maybe a 10-page one-liners, the pointers of each and every scene, each and every character, the character developments. That's the first part before writing a screenplay. So that's a kind of practice. So then, during that process, I develop the sense how the character will behave, how the growth and the journey and the arc of the character would be in the entire film. And if I adapt something from the novel, then it's already written there. It's already written there. Then you have to improvise on that. Maybe it's for certain elements is not viable on the big screen. Maybe if I'm changing a character, if I'm changing a scenario, maybe that particular character will behave differently. As a scriptwriter and a director, you have to put yourself into each and every character. That's your baby. So you have to think like the character. Then you have to think like what I will do if I am in that situation. You have to enact in your mind for each and every character. Then you can, this is also a very intuitive process. This comes with the practice. If a scene is consisting of 4 or 5 characters, for each and every character, you have to enact in your mind with, impersonating that character. Because every character will behave, every character will talk according to his mind at that point of time, psychological status at that point of time, his social status, his education. A corporate guy will talk differently rather than a roadside vendor. So every character, I also behave differently. Right. A professor will behave differently than a doctor. So every character will behave and talk differently. So that has to come out well in the script and the direction. Otherwise, every character will look same. So that is the primary thing. You have to do that process in your inside before writing the script. Make a 10-page one-liner of each scene. That may be a 10-15 pages thing. That you have to, that is the main essence. That is the gist of the entire thing. Then you develop on that thing and you write the screenplay.
So maybe that is the reason, Mr. Mitro, we see a lot of time people believes on drafting of the script, right? First draft, then they go for the second draft, which is more.
Absolutely. What I do, when you write something, it's your baby. You'll find everything is correct. You won't find a flaw in it. What I'll suggest, you write something start to finish, then you leave it for 2 weeks, 1 month, then you are totally emotionally detached with the subject, then you again revisit the script, then you'll find so many flaws. Then you yourself will find, oh, I have written this, how could I? So that's the thing. And if possible, you read out the script to certain people who are very knowledgeable about the film, not about the book. Maybe he has got a very good understanding about a written novel, but he or she may not be very well versed in the language of film. So he or she may misguide you. He will judge that script on the basis of the literary value, but it is not about the literary value. It is about the cinematic value.
Right.
So these are the process, I suppose. Then the person who is writing down the script, he or she knows what his or her vision is. So he can only think when it's done. I have written down what I have wanted to portray, what I have visualized. So you have to stop somewhere. Unless and until you are satisfied 100%, a creative person cannot be satisfied 100%, but nearer to your vision when you are there. So until then, you have to write it down. again and again and again. You have to revisit on your own, or maybe bouncing off with the proper knowledgeable people.
Right. And for fiction film, Mr. Mitra, maximum time we see that it's a very classical practice that establishment shot is actually has its own value. I mean, we saw in the classical Hollywood cinema that how they were preparing themselves for only the establishment shot. I mean, they have a, I mean, not only by duration, but also by effort, by investment. The establishment shot used to be considered as a very backbone of that particular film. So do you feel that even nowadays for any kind of fiction film, we have the similar kind of thought, or it is little different?
No, not really, because you have to give the sense of time and space to the audience, isn't it? Otherwise, unless and until you immerse the audience into that particular time and space, which is the basic function of a master shot or establishment shot. So I guess the audience will feel a little bit detached. You have to give the essence, the sense of the time and space to the audience. So for that, I guess definitely the master shot or the establishment shot is very much required. I mean, it's my personal. So since it's a creative process, it varies from a director to director. But I guess this is a very logical process, I suppose, because ultimately, what as a director or as a screenplay writer, what you want the audience to be engaged with your creation. So that's the thing. Unless and until you immerse the audience into your creation, you cannot move their thoughts, their emotions, the way you want to. So I guess for that, it is very much required.
Yes, and also I feel that it is also dependent on the mood of the film, because nowadays we see a whole lot of films which are very quick on the plot, on the introduction of the character, or maybe the editing pattern. Everything is very quick. So for that, maybe
the pace, yeah, the pace. It's not about the duration of the process, the shot or some the master shot or the establishment shot. It's not about the duration, and it is not like a classical Hollywood film. It always comes in the beginning or it comes at the end. Either way, that editing pattern has changed definitely. You can start up with the close-up and you can then give a master shot. Then you can again goes to the close shot. You can play with the shots, but for the classical thing, it's a master shot, then a mid shot, then a close shot. It's a classical graduation. But
yes,
I guess but for a classical thing, it goes with the psychology of an audience. If you see a situation when you as a person, what you see the room first. Say two people are having a conversation in the room, and you are the third person who enters the room. What you first see, you see the room first. That comes to your mind. Then your focus draws to the couch they are sitting and having a conversation. So first the master shot, the entire room. Then comes the mid shot, the two composite or the three composite, whatever, according to the characters and the other props. The couch and the setup they are talking. Then your attention goes to what they're talking, the conversation. Then comes the close shot.
Right.
So that actually, according to the psychology of a person, that's a very classical way of dealing it. But it can be reversed also. Your attention can start with a conversation. Maybe that's a very key point for that's a very key editing point from a scene to scene transition. You can start a new scene with a very dramatic or maybe very melodramatic conversation. Maybe you start with a very big close-up. A police is yelling at the crowd. Then why he is yelling? Then the police and the dog is barking. Then comes the extreme wide shot,
Long shot. Yeah.
extreme wide shot, the extreme long shot, ELS. So there's a protest is happening. It's a thousands and thousands of crowd. Then the element of surprise is there. Wow, so many crowd. So that's also a very classical process. So it goes with the playing with the psychology of the audience.
Right.
And nowadays,
yeah.
Nowadays, what is happening, because our attention span has decreased a lot.
Yeah.
So the pace, the timing of the shots, the duration of the shots has decreased. So we are in a very fast-paced society right now. So that everything is moving very fast. So that's the reason. That's the reason. I guess the editing pattern has changed. But if revisiting something, making a very classical film, making a period-based film, I would suggest go for a very classical way of editing, classical way of filming. That
actually it helps us to set a particular mood of the film. I mean, what is my intention? What period I am showing?
Absolutely.
What is the feel of the film? Maybe this element, if we will join that, it gives us it serves the goal, I should say.
Absolutely.
So, Mr. Mitra, this is actually from our last question we have reached, that I want to know your personal experience on how you developed. I mean, you faced any kind of hurdle or problem while you were developing the skill, that from script to the production, like any kind of experience.
You see, writing a script, it's very creative challenges. You don't have to face the logistical or technical or production challenges. The script to screen is a huge process. The first and the biggest and the toughest process is to get an investor, a financer or a producer. That's the toughest process. You can write based off the scripts. You can write an Oscar-winning script, but if you don't have a producer or an investor, that will remain with you. So you have to pitch the project to a proper producer who can back your vision. That's the toughest most challenge. If you have the producer who can back your vision and you have the written script, then comes selecting the proper crew. For proper crew means every subject dictates what kind of crew you require, because every crew has his or her speciality. A cinematographer or a sound designer or a music director, somebody is good in that genre, somebody is good in other genres. So according to your genre of the script, you have to select proper crew and your team of assistants who are very technically sound in the paperwork, because lots and lots of paperwork is required to have a proper shooting. And these people has to be from the guild, because guild is pretty strong in India. So you cannot plan anything outside the guild. I mean, all the best of the technicians, they're part of the guild. So it's not like that the guild people are, there's a notions that, no, we will avoid guild or something. But the best of the technicians you find in India, they're all from the guild. So really that doesn't make any sense, taking someone outside from the guild. So you have to obey by the rule of the industry. Then you have to register your story in the IMPA. If you are registering your story from the India, I mean from the eastern part of India, then you have to Eastern India Motion Pictures Association. You have to register your script, your story. Then comes the actors. So that depends on the budget you have. You can take the best of the actors or the stars, or maybe you can take a newcomer or maybe from a theater background. That you select from the process of audition and the screen test. And you have to hire a proper production team or proper executive producer or line producer who can coordinate with the stars to get them on board if they like your script. So then you have your crew and the cast ready to go for the project. Then Along with all the cast and crews, you have to go for the Reiki, location hunting. Then in the production design challenge, production design, under production design, it comes art direction and the costume and the sets and the props. It all comes under production design. So you have to, what you want to see, what you want to portray, what kind of character you have written. So then you have to transfer all these things technically and logistically, and you have to acquire all the, the actors, the props rather. You have to acquire all the props which is required for the actors to build up a set to before the filming. Then comes the shooting part, and shooting till the shooting part is only the halfway process. The most important process is the post-production part, which comes the editing, and then comes the sound designing. Sound designing comes the dubbing and the additional sound, the VFX sound, the FX. Then comes the music, and then the VFX. Then comes the final. These are the process. Then it will develop into a proper film. So that's a long process.
So it's actually a reverse process. When you are writing a script, you have to a very sketchy, even a sketchy idea will do, but you have to keep in your mind all the departments, all the job roles that
Absolutely.
are included.
It's not a sketchy idea. I would suggest, if somebody wants to be a good scriptwriter or director, he or she needs to see the film first in his mind. He or she needs to see the finished product or hear the finished product in their mind. Then he or she can back calculate and write it down. So you have to visualize, you have to see it in your mind. Then only you can write it down. And the other people are there to technically help you. They technically help you to convert your vision into the screen. But ultimately it's a aesthetical process. Those are technical hands. Those are not creative hands. They include their creative thoughts into it. Definitely, a cinematographer, you can suggest, you suggest, this is the frame, this is the magnitude I want. But a cinematographer will suggest what kind of light it would, the character will look good. The character, what kind of light or color will enhance the mood of the scene. That's the creative call a cinematographer will take.
Right.
Same thing with the music and everything.
Right. And this reminds me a problem that we generally face when our student usually try to write anything or develop a story through a script. We cannot see the presence of sound in the script. I mean, I think the sound department is the most overlooked department.
Absolutely.
Usually they work on any kind of script.
Absolutely.
So your version on that, how they can incorporate sound in the script. কারণ বলতে গেলে বলে যে ম্যাম স্ক্রিপ্ট লিখছি এটা তো all visual, so how I will incorporate in sound in this.
But that is also a practice. I would suggest the students to watch Hrithik Ghatak film once, how he has used sound, how he has used spatial sounds, spatial effect sounds. But the basic thing is that when you are writing a situation, you have the student, a director or scriptwriter has to be a good observer first, not observing something visually as well as audio wise. What he's hearing when somebody is inside a metro, what he or she is hearing. When somebody is giving a adda in Nandon, what he or she is hearing. What are the things? Maybe there is a vendor, maybe a puchka wala, maybe a jhalmuri wala, maybe people are calling ai chai edike aaye. So there are small little elements. Maybe somebody is sitting idle at home, maybe in a rainy afternoon, what he or she can hear from the window. These are the senses they need to develop. And sound designing comes not only with these sounds as well as spatial sounds, and also the music. These three parts, that combines with the sound designing. So what kind of emotions will heighten if I use flute, or if I use sitar, or if I use synthesizer, or if I use drum, or if I use tabla? That comes with the experience of hearing good music, listening to the good music, listening to the good musical film also. What kind of signature tune I want to use? I want to make a signature tune like Sholay or like a Pote Panchali. Those are iconic signature tunes.
Right.
But both of them, ignites a different kind of emotion within us. I'm just giving a crude example, rough examples. So this comes with the experience of watching good films. So that's also a process. You have to write it down. Maybe if you're not in the script, you make a sound designing note. For this scene, I want to hear these sounds. Make a table of it and give it to your sound designer. Give him a backbone. Give him a skeleton. The must thing what you want to hear. Then ask him or her to improvise on that. So make a table of that. The sound designing table. These are the things I want to hear in this scene. Scene wise, make a table. So
Absolutely, Mr. Mitra. Mr. Mitra, these my students are very excited. I mean, they have a whole lot of questions. So can we quickly take 2-3 questions from them?
Sure.
Okay, Vasudha Nandi has already asked for permission. So Vasudha, you can continue, please, quickly.
Good afternoon, sir. I have a question that as being a freelancer filmmaker, I don't have too much of budget to do any reshoots if any casualty happens. So while writing a script, like I don't have a producer or something. So while writing a script, should I like sometimes make some more like optional scripts, like if something happened in this plot, like Mother Nature is not with me, suddenly it started rain and I need a sunny type atmosphere, but it started raining and I don't have any other time to shoot that part. So can I like optionally change in the script, like in the option, if it rains then I can make the same situation in a different way and show it in a different way, like
yeah,
can I do like that?
or as a starter, that always you can do. So you have a practice and a habit. It happens quite a lot. It happens to us also all the time, because nature is not in our hand. And there are, for the big production, there are logistical problem also, which is not in our hand actually. So it happens with us also. So with us, what happened, because we have the experience, we can improvise on the set itself. Okay, this is not happening, so let's do it in that way. But since this is your formative years, it's better to, it's always a good practice to have alternate things right in hand. But ultimately you have to feel whether you are doing justice to it or not. It's not the sake of changing something. Ultimately your goal is to convey something through a scene, isn't it? So if you are trying to convey that thing, and if it is you have planned it in a sunny weather and suddenly it is raining, but at the same time you can convey that thing in the rainy weather, it's well and good. So you have to have the flexibility within you, so that you can incorporate your obstacles into your plus point. But ultimately you have to stick to what you want to say, and that cannot change.
Or maybe while they do budgeting, this is also my opinion. While they do budgeting, you also need to keep some days in reserve. Like
for budgeting, always make a budget at least 50% more, 15. So if your budget is if you think your budget is 10 rupees, you prepare a budget for 15 rupees, sorry, 11.5 rupees. 8 টাকা হাতে রাখতে হবে, 1.5 rupees you keep it in your hand for the for the emergency thing. That you have to do. You cannot have the whole lot of reshooting, but you prepare for a 11 rupees 50 paisa production, but you end it within 10 rupees. That should be your goal. But it always happens. It happens to us also, because for a big production, for a you cannot control everything, because it's not within you. You cannot control everything. So you have to have.
Sorry to interrupt. Actually, one time a case has happened. Me and my team, small team, were going to a place where we will shoot. In the middle, we were thought that we will pick a actor over there because he used to live nearby. Suddenly, on the spot, when we are on the train, the actor suddenly said that he couldn't come. So at that time, I have to sit and change the script at that time. So sometimes this can happen, like for us, not like with the budget or those have done contract only. So for us, if something like this if ever happen anytime that I couldn't change the script at that time, what should we do at that time? And
No, if you cannot change the script, then bung the shooting on that day. There's no other option. But try to stick to the script.
thank you.
That you plan it in another day.
And if the actor is not turning up, then stop walking with him or her. If he is, or she is.
No, maybe it happens. If maybe he or she is ill or something, it happens to us also.
Yeah.
Maybe if the actor falls sick or something, so we postpone we shot with the other people on that day with the other scenes. But for the big production, this really generally doesn't happen, because everybody is professional. So they stick to their professional code. But if something untoward happens and something is not in our control, definitely it's better to your original vision. Do not change anything for anyone. So
Okay,
that
thank you. Yeah, thank you, Vasudha. Anybody else? আর কারো কোনো প্রশ্ন আছে?
Ma'am, can I ask something?
Yeah, Duipan, please continue.
So I wanted to ask that while I'm writing the script, I just cannot stick to the concept, the art direction, the costume, even the cinematography, everything comes into my mind. So while writing the script, should I include those things also, like the color of the walls, the costume?
Yeah. Absolutely. What you want to see, you write it down. Everything. So that after that, after the shooting happens, then you don't have a budget or time to change anything. It's better to write it down everything.
Okay. In the script only, everything.
In the script only. Make a footnote. After every scene, you keep a place for writing down notes.
Okay.
And you write it down your the points you want to convey in that scene.
Okay. Okay, one more question. Yes.
Yeah, Duipan.
Yeah, one more question is that, like, while I'm writing, is it important to completely visualize the film while writing the script? So, is there no space of experimenting while shooting? I know if it's a big budget film, it will be tough to experiment.
No. I told you my discussion. If you have the proper script, and the entire technicians, the senior technicians, the creative guy, and you mug up everything within yourself, then you can improvise. But you need to know the grammar first. You cannot change that. আগে অ কখটা জেনে তারপর তুমি লেখো, আগে অ কখটাকে পুরো মুখস্থ করো, then it comes. But if you have from the beginning you are planning to improvise, then it doesn't make sense. You improvise in the process, during the process. But don't make it, you write it down something and you end up making a different film altogether. Then your vision is is not clear. So you write it down something, you stick to that thing, and then if you feel and if you have a good suggestion from someone from your creative team, and maybe a spark in your mind during the process, okay, if I change this thing like that, it will happen. Please go ahead.
Okay, so thank you.
So basically, Doipayan, I would like to add one more point, that initially when you are starting your career, or you are starting to shoot, what happens, the script is also a resource that help you to communicate with the rest of the other crew member. Like, you have to communicate your ideas to the editor, to the cinematographer, everyone. So that also help you through a solid script. So initially, that is the reason I think sir is I mean বারবার স্যার এই কথা বলছেন যে যখন আমরা শুরু করি তখন আমাদের অকটা জানতে হবে, তারপরে then when you are a master, you have that experience, then you can actually break the rule and play the game. First you have to know the rule of the game. So that's, I think, should be an addition. Okay, thank you, Doipayan. Do we have
Thank you.
anybody else who has any question?
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes or no, please continue.
Good afternoon, sir. So my question is that is it good to have a single coverage of a scene, or should we have multiple coverages of a scene so that we have the flexibility while editing? That is my question.
Multiple?
Coverages. Like
You you want the same scene to shoot differently.
yeah, from different angles, so that there is flexibility while editing. So
Different angles. You are talking about the cinematographic part or the aesthetic part?
The cinematographic part.
Yeah, for cinematography part, I guess nowadays what happens, it's like a offline editing. The people shoot from every angle possible and then leave it to the editor. Then what's the job of a director? Then what's the job of a cinematographer? Then it's a multi-angle camera shoot. I don't personally believe in that. So I guess that, as I was discussing during the process, every scene has their own pace and the own visual dimension. So the way how you want to portray that particular scene, how you want to convey that scene, it comes with the shot division and the shot angles and the shot planning. It's not like chopping off 10 shots and putting it together. So that comes with that's a very television packaging. That's not a film. So that's the difference between a good director and a art director. So there lies the difference. So I guess it is better to stick to proper planning of a shot rather than taking 5 shots from every angle possible and then decide on the editing table. I don't personally believe in that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Arunnu. Anybody else? Do we have any other question? Okay, I guess we have come to the
Can I
end of.
ask a question to sir before ending
Okay,
the session?
Vasudha,
I
very
want to
quickly.
ask that can we have a internship with you so that we IELTS students can go in one of your work and see how you work with the team?
Normally it's a very closed door process, so normally we do not generally allow from the outside people to enter the sets and everything, because these are very production secrets are there which we don't want to go to the. So but we do have I do take interns, so we'll let you know definitely, so during the process.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Vasudha. So Biduda, I think we have reached at the very climax of this session. To you, over to you, Biduda.
Yeah, thank you, Nirabari, for your support and for your help and for the whole coordination. I'd like to thank Mr. Mitro as well for this wonderful session, sharing your insights, suggestions, and like how the students should go ahead and what's their ambition should be, like what should be their process to reach their ambition, to reach their goal. So well said, Mr. Mitro. And apart from that, there are a lot of things actually, I am not from the film background, but definitely I eat, sleep and drink film. Okay, so I took a various interest in all the topics. So I think like we need to have a lot more engagement, because as you was talking about, like a director is like kind of a manager or a CEO kind of a thing. Like he needs to manage, or she needs to manage the whole process. And I'm
He's the
sure
captain of
like
the ship. He's the captain of the ship.
captain of the ship, rightly said. And you are one of the person, I don't want to take the name, but you have convinced one of the biggest producers, okay, of our country, I mean to say. So like a session in all these factors, I think that it will be valuable. Like soon, like I believe like the lockdown will be over, like we can professionally engage with lot more workshops, and I think like the students will be actively taking part in it as well. And as well, like we definitely will have some kind of a interaction, like where we can engage our students. Definitely we'll keep the legal things intact, so that
Sure.
any production houses or any film does not lose its authenticity or secrecy.
Sure.
And I want to thank on behalf of Mr. Debashish, our principal sir. He is actually busy with our university, actually, due to some work. So I personally thank on behalf of Mr. Debashish. And I thank you on behalf of the whole ILEAD family, especially the film and television department and the media studies of ILEAD. So it was a wonderful having you for this show.
I love it.
So we wish to continue the relation. I think like we have made a small group as well. So day by day we'll involve our students as well, and we'll see for a better future for our students.
Rightly said, Vidyuta. Thank you very much, Mr. Mitro, because I felt that this session that we had today, it is actually served all the purposes. Like it was good for the very basic to brush up the basic of this of the craft, and also it helped people who are already making films and they are trying to get into the business. So it serves all the purposes. So thank you very much for your valuable time that you have shared with us. And thank you, Vidyuta, for organizing this event.
So we end the show.
Sure.
Okay. Thanks to all of you. Bye.
Thank you.